What in the world did I just listen to? That's what these stories would do to you. You think you understand what's going on until you realize you really don't. They're short, but they really need you to focus. Miss a detail, and you'll miss everything. My boyfriend and I were once very much in love. We were all over each other all the time, our friends constantly making fun of us for being sappy, while secretly harboring a burning jealousy of our happiness. We were the golden couple, until we weren't. It felt like everything changed overnight. One evening we were hopelessly in love, and the next he was like a different man. He wanted nothing to do with me. We still shared the same bed, though we hadn't done anything physical in months. Every morning I woke up first and held his hand until he opened his eyes. But as soon as he was awake, he'd pull his hand from my grip and ignore me. While he was in the shower, I'd make him breakfast. Sometimes eggs, sometimes pancakes, sometimes just toast. But he never ate it. He'd just grab an apple and rush out the door for work, leaving his food untouched on the counter for me to clean up. When he was at work, he ignored my texts, and almost every night he came home late, drunk off his mind from an evening spent at the bar. He'd scream and break things, and sometimes he'd cry too, something I never saw him do back when he still loved me. The day I knew for sure that he hated me was the day that the moving truck pulled up in front of our house. He hadn't discussed moving out, and we hadn't even officially broken up. Within hours, his stuff was being carted out of the house by movers, and he continued to ignore me. While movers carried out boxes all around him, he sat down on the old beaten couch that we used to watch movies on together. He pulled a picture out of his pocket, a photo of the two of us together at Disneyland. He stared at a spot a few meters to the right of me, eyes dripping with tears, and began to speak. Though he wasn't looking right at me, I knew he was speaking to me. For the first time in months. "Leave me alone," he said, crying. "It's been 4 months since it happened. We both need to move on. I live in the house alone now without my boyfriend who no longer loves me. I know he is moving on and will never come back, but I don't know if I can." I live alone, no family, roommates, or pets, and no one else with a key. That's the way I've always liked it until now. I work a late shift and normally don't get back until around midnight, but tonight I was off early and home by 10. Coming inside, I hung up my jacket and took off my shoes, putting them on my shoe rack. They go next to my heels, but my heels weren't there. I must have forgotten to put them away. I stepped into the kitchen. I must have been really tired when I left. I had left the pantry and several cupboards open. My breakfast dishes were clean though, even though I didn't remember doing them. Clearly I need another coffee or two to start my day with my head screwed on right. I turned on the TV and got some food out for my dinner. I had to rip the packaging open since I couldn't find my scissors. But either way, I was determined to enjoy food, a show, and sleep. I never got home this early and wasn't going to waste it. There was a thump that didn't come from the TV. I quickly muted it and looked around. It had come from my room. Nothing came to mind that could have possibly caused a noise. I stood frozen in my kitchen for nearly 5 minutes before deciding to go and investigate. Slowly and quietly, I inched my bedroom door open to peer beyond. Only a crack, and I could see that my clothes were strewn everywhere. Leaning in, I could see that my bed was unmade. I certainly hadn't left my room in this state in the morning, aside from the mess. However, the room was empty, leaving only the walk-in closet. I walked as slowly and soundlessly as possible across the carpet. Creeping around the bed, I came right up to the closet door. I could hear breathing, quiet and shallow, but it was there and it was not me. I put a hand over my mouth and focused solely on not screaming. Even more carefully than before, I walked backward to the door to the entryway. I had my hand on the doorknob and was about to leave when I stopped. I needed to see what it was first. I opened the front door and loudly shut it. Then I silently stowed myself in the hall closet. After only a few minutes, there was a sound from my bedroom. The closet was open. I put my hand over my mouth again, holding my phone in the other. Then someone stepped out of my room. My heels jammed on their feet, clicked on the tile. One of my dresses hung on them crookedly. A pantyhose was pulled over their face, and my scissors were in their scratched hand. I had stopped breathing entirely, typing out my text to the cops with one hand. Then they spoke. "Honey, I'm home." The loud bang outside woke me with a start. I leapt from my bed and headed towards the front door, yelling as loud as I could to whomever was outside trying to get in. I stopped at the top of the stairs overlooking my front foyer, seeing the motion sensor light outside had been triggered. Someone was out there, and I was sure it wasn't my family. I yelled again at the front door to let the people outside know someone was there. I was so scared I almost peed on the floor. A flashlight shone through the window in our living room, and I heard someone outside saying something. I ran back to my bed and waited for the people to go away. Another loud bang outside startled me, and I peed all over my blankets. This was ridiculous. I'm not supposed to be scared of this. I'm supposed to be brave. That's what my mommy always said. I leapt from my bed and ran straight to the front door, yelling and screaming the whole way. I was telling them to get away from my home, or they'd be sorry. They didn't listen as they tried to force their way into the house. Every time they pushed the door, I yelled louder. I was ready to attack as they hit the door one more time. Then it stopped as a set of lights pulled into the driveway. I could hear my dad yelling, and then my mother using her keys to open the door and pick me up off the ground. "You're such a good boy, Chip. You protected the house just like you supposed to," she said. My dad came in next talking on his phone to someone. He scratched my ears as he walked by ensuring I was safe, and then checked the rest of the house. I did good like the good boy I am. "I know you don't like being here alone, and that's okay. You always hesitate before stepping in, pausing at the door as if anticipating something you can't quite name. Your fingers hover over the light switch, like the brightness might make the feeling go away. I get that too. Anyway, I like it when you sing. You don't always do it, but sometimes when the silence gets too heavy, you hum or whistle your favorite tune. I bob my head when you sing. It helps me pass the time, but my broken neck makes it a bit harder. I watch as you step inside and the water begins to run, softening everything. The edges of the world blur, the outside sounds fade, but I know that's when you start to feel it. That prickling at the back of your neck, the sharp inhale when your shampoo-covered fingers slide over your ears, muffling the world just enough for your mind to wander. Sometimes you shout, "Hello," just to prove nothing's wrong. Never answer. That wouldn't be polite. But I understand. Like that one night when you jolted, gasping, hands frozen in your hair. Sorry, that was me. I forgot how long my hair is when I hang upside down from your ceiling. You moved on quickly, shook it off, convinced yourself it was nothing. You always do. I get why you rush now, why your hands scrub too fast, why you tilt your head back only for a second, blinking water from your eyes. You don't like closing them. You think that's when I'll appear. But that's not true. I'm already close. I'm always close. Not in a bad way. I don't want to scare you. I've always been here. If something shifts behind the curtain, it's probably just me. If the steam feels too warm, like something breathing with you, well, just brush it off. It's a small space and we need to share, don't we? And if for a moment something cold and ragged brushes your shoulder, don't be alarmed. I just like being near you. I understand the quickening of your pulse, the way your skin flushes under the heat, the way you wipe the mirror just to make sure you're still alone. So why hide? I understand why you rush to turn off the water, blindly reach for the towel, eyes flickering to the mirror, to the space behind you. You never stay long, but that's all right, because everyone who's ever seen me while washing their face or scrubbing their hair at night was absolutely right to.